Workflows is a podcast about saving you time and money in your photography business. I'm your host, Scott Wyden-Kifowitz, a photographer and content creator who struggles with dyslexia, color blindness, introversion, and anxiety stemming from years of being bullied as a child. Guess what? Workflows have been my rock. I have workflows for every aspect of my life. That's why I am so happy to bring you Workflows, a podcast presented by Imagen. As a company dedicated to saving you time and money in your photography business, it makes sense to enhance and expand the conversation to all things workflows. Tune in and subscribe to hear stories, strategies, and tools that can be your rock. Hear from people just like you. Get to work with Workflows. Debbie Jean Lemonte is an extraordinary photographer and a passionate artist dedicated to transforming fleeting moments into lasting memories. As a Black, Caribbean, Jamaican, queer woman, Debbie Jean navigates the industry with a courage and determination, breaking barriers and challenging norms. Her art inspires others to embrace their uniqueness wholeheartedly. Believing that love knows no bounds, she proudly serves couples and families of all identities and backgrounds. Her work has been featured in Brides, Pop Sugar, The New York Post, BuzzFeed, Vanity Fair. The list can go on. I'm very excited about this conversation. Debbie has so much to offer and so much fantastic knowledge to share with you. So tune in. Here we go with my conversation with Debbie Jean Lemonte. Hey, Debbie, how's it going?
It is going well. How are you?
I'm doing all right. It's not too often that I get to speak to a guest that is in my same time zone. And not only that, but you're 1 hour north of me. So we're in the same state. It's a rare treat that this gets to happen on the Workflows Photography podcast.
Yay.
Yeah. So we're gonna kick this off right away with a very important topic that I feel needs to be discussed more in the photo industry, and that is, how do we as photographers with our businesses be more inclusive, right, in the guests that are at events that we might be photographing, or the clients themselves that we are either trying to attract or trying to book? Or how do we what's like one good tip that you might have to make our photography businesses more inclusive all around?
I would say, honestly speaking, I can't even give one good advice. I think I have 5 million, but
I'm sure you do.
I say, honestly, step out of your group. A lot of folks stay within their frame. And we were talking about this earlier, like for yourself as a white man, what does your photography group look like? What does your vendor group look like? Depending on what you photograph. Right? So that's what you're going to keep photographing, whatever that shows up in your group. Once you step outside of that and give, I guess, space for other people to step in and say, hey, we would love to have you. However, we notice that your portfolio doesn't have XYZ. That's the moment where you show yourself to be an ally. You say, hey, you could keep it honest. Like for me, I may be queer, but to be honest, if you look at my portfolio, I don't have a lot of queer people. And it took a while for me to realize queer people aren't booking me, not because I'm, queer myself. It's like they're not booking me because they don't see the representation in my portfolio. Right. So I took the time and I made sure I wasn't tokenizing as well, where I set up sessions, free sessions or discounted sessions with either queer couples or queer people themselves, trans people, non-binary people. And I asked them like, hey, you have this moment coming up. Do you mind if I photograph you? And in that moment, I even give them the option. You could say yes to your photos being used publicly, or you could say no. Either way, I'm going to photograph you. Mm-hmm. The reason being is like, also, if you don't want me to put it on the website, you might give me the permission to use it on the back end. So if someone does reach out to me, I could say, hey, while these photos may not be on my website, I do have this person's permission to share it on the back end with someone who might be interested. So step out of your comfort zone, step out of your little circle, and introduce yourself to new people who don't share your thoughts, who don't share your experiences. And I'm sure you'll find the client that you're looking for, or
Yeah.
even you want to like diversify your portfolio with. And some of them are pretty helpful. They're not going to be a pain in the butt. They're going to be helpful.
You know, in a way, obviously a very different thing, but
Yeah.
in a way, it's a similar approach to how do you sell more wall art? Well, you got to show wall art
Yep.
for people to know that you're selling wall art.
Uh-huh.
So in a way, it's a very similar. Show what you want to attract,
Yeah.
and surround yourself by that. I love it. I love it. Fantastic.
Thanks.
So let's dive into the typical first question I asked every guest,
Okay.
which is, what is one thing you do for the photographic process? You're behind the camera that saves you time in your workflow overall.
I call him my first mentor, Jimmy Sweet. When I first picked up a camera, the first advice he ever gave me was get it right, or at least close to perfect in camera. So when it's time to do post-production or editing, it saves you time. So I work with clients all the time. And if I don't care if it's a strand of hair in the middle of your forehead, I am taking the time to move that to the side. Why? Because it's saving me 20 minutes in Photoshop.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the concept, if I'm behind the camera, I'm going to guide you, but I'm also going to fix you up. Get it right in camera as close to perfect.
How often are you missing that in camera, and are you beating yourself up for it?
Look, literally the other day, I did a graduation session and I'm in the zone. We're having fun. Like,
Yeah.
I like to connect with my clients, and we're in it and we're getting the shots. And then I get home and I'm like, there's a hair at the side of her eye. Like, it's literally coming down at this. And I'm like, oh, we could have fixed that in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Now I gotta sit in Photoshop for 15 minutes to figure this out. I absolutely hate Photoshop, by the way. I gotta sit in Photoshop for 15 minutes to fix this thing. I don't want to do it. But yes, most recently, I'll say we did the session on Saturday or Sunday, and the minute I pulled it up on the camera, it was staring me in the face.
Ugh. I feel your pain. You know, I get in the zone more often than I probably should, because sometimes I miss it, or too often I miss it, and it drives me insane. But at the same time, you get in that zone and it feels good. You don't want to get out of the zone.
You're like, you're getting the shots, the pose are working, the composition is doing its thing, the light is, and then you go home and you're like, that damn strand of hair.
Yeah. Totally. Okay, so let's shift to business for a second. Mm-hmm. What is one thing you do for your business that saves you time or money? And let's stay away from Imagine for the time being, because we're going to get to Imagine later on. Mm-hmm. But for business, what is one thing you do that saves you time or money?
I automate in my CRM. Like,
ooh, which CRM?
I use Tav. Or
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's pronounced Tave or Tav.
I think they say Tave, but I don't.
I'm not too sure.
Just like Imagine, they probably don't care.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I just Tave. Let's be a little bougie with it. Tave. And with their system, which I find to be, it's robust, but once you've set up your automations, everything just runs smoothly. And so I automate everything I could possibly think of. All my emails, my contracts. So far, when inquiries come in and the email goes back out, they have a system where people could set up a phone call with me. Like, everything literally is automated in my CRM, because time is money. I don't want to be sitting in front of my computer writing the same email every day. Yeah. Why? When my system could just do that for me.
Yeah. Do you have, I'm not sure if Tave offers this like some of the others do, but do you have a method in place where you could interject if you need to stop that flow? Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
How often do you find yourself having to interject to the automations? Because I feel like that's a lot of people's fear of automating that type of part of their workflow is, oh, what if I don't want that email to go out? So yeah, how often do you find yourself?
I don't think I do it very often, because okay, so I used to do admin support before I even did photography. I'm tedious in the brain. And so I literally created an entire client map of inquiry down to execution, or inquiry to them saying, no, we're not interested, and automate it. So that way, again, time is money, and I don't want to be doing these tedious tasks by myself. Now, if it comes along that for whatever reason, I get like a wedding inquiry and they throw a wrench in there, like, hey, we're going to have clowns, circus, fireworks, all this other stuff, and whatever else that's not set in my automation that could like give a run through for the day, information that you've shared, I'll go in and interject, add those notes or whatever. But rarely ever do I ever have to like stop an automation, pause an automation. I literally sat down. I told my partner this the other day. I sat down and I wrote down the map and I shared the map with them. It's like, if a client says no, what are the next steps? We could say, hey, we're going to add you to the newsletter. Hey, this is what we're going to do. You come up with these steps. So once you automate it, you don't have to think about it. It's almost like you have a personal assistant while you're sleeping.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. I'm curious if we're going to get to the post session in a little bit. So I'm going to ask this question later once we get there, but it's going to be related. So let's go into the next thing, which is editing. Again, not Imagen, right? Let's say pre-Imagen or even post-Imagen, but not Imagen. What is one thing you do for the editing that has saved you time?
Ooh, okay. That's not Imagen. I think the one thing I have done is invest in, and I'm sure everybody hates AI right now, but invest in an AI culling system. And like you said, I can't mention and imagine, but you invest in an AI culling situation that learns your patterns. Because for me, I honestly hate culling. I don't.
I'm right there with you.
I don't like it, especially when you're trigger happy. In a 30-minute, 45-minute session, you have like 1,000 pictures. Like, why? Where did that come from? So I didn't have to sit through all that. So investing in an AI culling system that would like help you not sit in front of the computer for 24 hours, just break down the system a little bit more. I think pre-Imagen, I have a photo mechanic and it works perfectly fine. Sometimes if I feel like I want to go back old school and do a little, culling by myself, especially if it's a small session, I'll do that. But definitely invest in an AI culling system.
Yeah. Speaking of AI culling, so Imagen did come out with Culling Studio, which is amazing. Not only is it a complete user interface overhaul, but it's also an algorithm update. Yeah. Big one too. Yeah. And I put a big test through it that completely blew my mind. So, and the accuracy was mind-blowing. So check this out. About 10 years ago, photographed a very large commercial job for the originator of a karate school that I have since joined. The karate school. It was formed in 1974. Unfortunately, the guy who hired me to do this passed during the pandemic, but not from COVID. Yeah. The school actually just had its 50th anniversary party this past weekend. And anyway, so 10 years ago or so, he hired me to photograph his photos for his second book that he was writing. And we wound up doing tethered. It was tethered to a computer, tethered using Lightroom. So over 11,000 photos. Okay. Now, he's meticulous. So when I say like he wanted, to see a punch, but he wanted to make sure the hand, for those who are watching the YouTube video, the hand's not like this. It's like this, right? So there's 11,000 frames that he had to go through and figure out exactly what he wanted for the book. He narrowed it down from around 11,000 to 700 photos. Wow. Okay. He did this manually himself. I gave him the photos and he went through one by one. That's how meticulous he was to know exactly what he wanted in the book. Okay. I ran the same photos through Imagen's Culling Studio. No joke. Just shy of 700 photos is what Imagen picked.
Oh, wow.
So it was almost perfectly accurate to what the author of this book, who created the style of karate, exactly what he wanted in the book. That's how good Imagen's Culling Studio is. I just blew my mind. It really is good. Like,
I've only used it, I think, once or twice for a large wedding because I was like, I am not sitting through thousands of photos. So I was like, I'm just going to run it through. And it was so good.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, I was like, maybe I should go back to doing large weddings. But I'm like, no. But it was so perfect that it was hard not to mention. It was hard not to think about, maybe I should just use this more. But I was like, I'll do it mostly for the larger projects versus like my small graduation minis that I've been doing over the last 2 weeks. No. But the Cohen system is perfect for these large weddings that I've been doing.
Amazing. Now, let's dive into what happens after a session. I'm going to backtrack a little bit, okay? So you mentioned that business-wise, you're automating a lot of the tasks that happened, emails and whatnot, before you even book, right? And even potentially, I'm assuming, after you book, right? Now, my next question, and I'm going to add on to this question, but what is one thing you do after a session that increases business? And to backtrack and tie it all together, are you doing things like, hey, it's been a year since you got married. Congrats on your first anniversary. Is it automated? And how often have you interjected to that? Because, people could get divorced.
Right.
So I'm sorry, that was a whole lot in one question, but I'm so curious.
So you said after a session, what do I do?
To increase business.
To increase business? Honestly speaking, before I even sell the full gallery, sometimes I send them sneak peeks the same day. Thank you, Imagen.
Nice.
Sometimes I send them sneak peeks. And in that moment, they're like, okay, here's my review. They don't even wait to get the full gallery. And once they send that review within that 24, 48 hours, I'll screenshot it, put the photo up on social media or Instagram mostly, add the review, and just share it. I realized that sharing someone's experience with me so far has increased bookings, especially through social media. Before, I wasn't booking a lot through social media. I was mostly booking through word of mouth, previous clients, current clients, sharing. Never really, I would say maybe 10% of my bookings would come through Instagram. So I never really invested much time into it, but it's not when I started sharing reviews on that platform, more leads started coming in. Like even yesterday, a lead came in for another graduation session for a young lady. And she's like, I found you on Instagram. Shocker. So yeah, I definitely try to do sneaks within like 24, 48 hours. So that way, if they give me a review, I could share it immediately on social. And somehow that gets me more eyes, more awareness, and more leads.
Yeah.
And the other part of that question.
Yep.
Have I ever had to interject an automation in terms of like the one? Yes, I do automate the 1 year anniversary thing. I think I've only had to interject once because life happened with this couple. Life happened with this couple, and I didn't want to trigger the young lady that was involved. So I was like, I'm just going to interject and just end the automations here.
Yeah.
I even went as far as removing them from certain sections of my newsletter. So that way, if it's sending out stuff about marriage and couples. Again, she's not a part of, I didn't have his email, so he was good. But yeah, I definitely had to interject once because that one is a little messy. I didn't.
I just thought of something and I'm wondering if you have looked into this. But first of all, do you know if Tave has Zapier integration?
Yes.
It does. Okay. So are you using ManyChat on Instagram and connecting it to your Tave?
No.
Something to consider.
I know. I see a lot of people doing it. I'm not going to lie. Because I thought about it. I was like, because I'm tired of people sending me DMs when it obviously says, check the link. Like that little step, check the link. But I realize sometimes folks just want it immediately. So maybe integrating ManyChat might be a thing. But I also realize I actually love being hands-on with my DMs. It feels a little bit more personable. It feels like, okay, you're talking to me. There's absolutely nothing wrong for the folks who are using ManyChat. If you want to use it, by all means, not shaming, not judging. I think there are parts in my business where I still want to keep human. Yeah. I still want that human touch.
Yeah. Well, there's no reason why you couldn't just again, I'm just spewing food for thought here.
Yeah.
There's no reason why you couldn't start with the human touch, but have ManyChat say, oh, after 2 weeks, now start seeing if you can get them on your list.
Yeah.
You know, and all they have to do is click the button and then there it is.
That's a smart idea. I might just try it. Seriously.
Yeah.
I might just try it because I'm good with that saving time of money. But I've seen a lot of it, but I've seen mostly not necessarily in the photography space. I've seen it a lot with like creatives, like now they have user generated content creators where it's like no face content who do this often, or like creative consultants or consultants who are using it well. So I might jump on it a little bit, see how it works in the business, and if it works, we'll keep it. I'm a big fan of if it works, keep it, and if it don't, get rid of it.
Have you ever tried ManyChat at all?
No.
Just curious.
I just always ended up on the back end as a customer or someone who inquires. Like if I send someone a message like, hey, XYZ, I get like an automated response and I'm like, that's not what I'm asking. I
think based on, you and I have just met, right? Yeah. And I'm just getting to know you, but based on what I know about you now, I think you would fall in love with their workflow planner, because it very much is that like map it out, post-it notes all over the place and drag lines. It does this, it does this, it does this. That's ManyChat. That's how you set it up.
I like.
So I could see that being something that you really like to dig into.
Yeah. I might just, if that's how it's working, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm a big fan
literally
of
how it's set up. Yeah. Yep. This is now my favorite part of the show. Okay. I started doing this in season 2, and I've been doing with pretty much every guest. Pick a color.
Oh, I'm gonna go with green. Green says money. Let's go with green.
Okay. Sometimes these have nothing to do with money. These are just random questions. I am going to thumb through it, and you're going to tell me when to stop.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Stop.
Okay. My next question to you is, what instantly makes you not like another person?
Oh. Biggest pet peeve. Mm-hmm. Like, you meet a stranger and you just have no compassion or grace. Like, for me, that's the biggest turnoff. My dad has always taught me, rest in peace, Dad, treat everyone like they're the president, whether it's the janitor or the principal or somebody that's walking on the street, a homeless person. Treat them with compassion and respect. So if I ever meet someone and let's say we're sitting eating and you're rude to the waitstaff, I'm never having dinner with you ever again. Like, immediately. If you're someone who's walking on the street and feel the need to belittle a vagrant, obviously they're already down and out. You don't need to belittle them anymore. So for me, someone who lacks compassion and respect for other people, it's an immediate turn off.
You know, my entire childhood, I had someone in my family that no matter what restaurant you went to, the person was very mean to the waiter or waitress or whoever it might be. And, it's family, so it's not like I could just avoid the person,
Right.
And I still love the person, even though the person was not a very nice person.
Yeah.
And it, in a way, it taught me, don't ever do this to somebody. And it made me a better person for it, And I think it's one of those life lessons that just sticks with you, even though you didn't ask for it to begin with. And, so I love that.
Like, you gotta be kind. The thing is, I feel like a lot of people are mean when they're on this pedestal or feel like they're better than everyone else. And it's like, babe, you could meet the person that you were rude to on the way down. So just be kind to everyone. You also don't know what anybody else is going through. We all live in our own bubbles. Literally, everything that happens in our world is a big deal. And I get that. But if someone comes to you and say, hey, can I have $1? If you don't have $1, you could just say, hey, but I don't have $1, but I hope you have a good day. Like, you don't have to be rude about it. I've randomly before been walking from a session one time And I came across the young ladies, it was like 8 a.m. in the morning, sitting on the steps in Soho with her daughter in hand, begging for money to buy food. And I'm one of these people where I'm going to check if you want the money or the food. Because if you're hungry, you're always going to pick the food. Because if you're hungry, if you ever been hungry, you're not going to give up food. And I said to her, I was like, hey, I don't have cash, but there's a McDonald's around the corner. If you want, you both could come and I'll buy you breakfast. And immediately she was like, yes, we'll take it. And I'm not even sharing this for clout or anything. It's just more so of, I don't know what got her there, but I also know what it's like to come home and be like, wow, I got to make ramen noodles tonight. Like, I know what it's like not to have a meal. So even if it takes 5 seconds out of your day, be kind to somebody. Just, it doesn't take a lot. It really doesn't.
Yep. You're right. I love that. So this next part is, this is a deep one. I would like for you to look at your business from a 30,000 foot view down.
Oh, God.
And share an outline breakdown of your workflow from lead to delivery. Now, I know a lot of it is automated, but just an outline bullet list of here's how my workflow looks from the point that the lead comes in to when I deliver the photo to the client.
Okay, I think I'm going to do a condensed version.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I created this whole map of like, if and when. Okay. So let's say a lead comes in through my inquiry form or through Instagram, wherever. A message is immediately sent out where they could either book immediately, because Tave does this where you're now able to schedule your sessions with me, or bookable events as they call it. So if you want to book a portrait session with me immediately, you could do that. If you want to book your engagement session, whatever. The only thing that's not bookable is a wedding, because I need to talk to you first. So it gives you the option to either make a call, set up a call with me, or book your event. Once you book the call, we get on the call. At the end of that call, I give you the option, are we booking? Do you need a minute? After that, they're sent the invoice and the contract. Again, as soon as they're sent that invoice and contract, that portion is slightly automated. And then about 72 hours, maybe 5 days before the shoot, we get on the call again, or I send an email just laying it all out. Hey, this is what we're doing. If you have any questions, all of that. The day comes, we execute, have fun, but that doesn't stop there for me. Literally the next day, they get an email that says, hey, thank you for giving me the opportunity yesterday. And then kind of lay out what the next steps are. And within 3 to 5 days, once they get their gallery, they also decide, especially if it's a wedding client, they decide if they want to open the gallery on Zoom with, and we have bubbles, a little drink here and there. And they open the gallery with me on the Zoom with them. And for me, it's more so seeing their reaction and like having that moment with them. Or they could choose to open it by themselves. Either way, once they get their gallery, everything is sent out within 4 days. They're sent an email just asking for feedback, review, what can we work on, what can we improve on. And then after that, they're just added to a newsletter. So literally there are other intricate steps in between, but that's just the simple layout. It goes from inquiry, we get on the phone. From the phone, I send you the contract and the invoice. You sign that baby. We create a session, execute it. The day afterwards, I say thank you. A couple days later, you get your gallery. Once you get your gallery, I then send an email again just asking you for your feedback and your review. And depending on the feedback and review, I may ask for a phone call for clarification, especially if you feel like you didn't have a great experience. And then they're added to the newsletter.
I'm curious of the sort of I'm going to call it the IPS, the in-person sales part of your gallery reveal, right? Were you always doing that, or did you add that at some point?
I added that within the last year and a half, I believe.
Okay. Since you added it,
yes.
How have you seen print sales from your gallery improve?
They go up. So I'm not sure what most people use for galleries. I use Pixieset. I love Pixieset. Okay. It's an easy interface. I don't like all the extra stuff. And because it's already connected to a printing lab, I don't really have to do anything. Really. I just send them the gallery, and if they want to print, they print. But I realize whenever we did an unveiling together, whenever I do sneak peeks and let them know, like, hey, you can print from your gallery, I get print sales immediately. I'm also someone who doesn't do, I know some folks have the model where you have a session fee and then someone buy images. I don't have that model. For me, it's we have a session. Within your session, there are a certain number of images that you receive. And if it's a branding session or portrait session, you get to pick the pictures you want because at the end of the day, these are yours. If you want to buy extra photos, you absolutely can. And if you want to buy prints, you could go ahead directly from your gallery. You don't need to sit and talk to me about it. You don't need to consult me or anything. You just go and buy the pictures you want, whatever size you want, whenever you want. So yeah, in terms of in-person sales, I've seen it increase since I've started doing the Zoom sessions, but it doesn't happen all the time because I've also realized we're kind of in a generation where people don't really care much about print anymore. It's more so of having the digital images to use whenever and however.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a thing that I've always struggled with in my area because besides from the weddings, for the most part, the photographers here are just doing galleries and sending it off. So to not do that makes it very hard, right?
Yeah.
To compete with the others.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know, and it's something that I want to work on, is to start doing the IPS for the galleries because I know that it can make you stand out and increase the sales. So very cool that you're doing it. I'm glad it's working well and it's inspiring for for me and probably others to
it's
do
okay to do it though. Like, because I even realized when I did the Zoom sessions with especially the wedding clients, I get a lot of elopements from folks out of the United States who come here to get married. And so sometimes when we do the unveiling, they will end up deciding, hey, how do we get an album? Keep in mind, an album is not even in their contract, but now they want to talk album. So it's something to consider of what human touch point can you add to your system or your workflow that will increase sales at the end? Because at the end of the day, yes, you're providing a service, but when it comes down to it, in addition to having pretty pictures, if they have a great experience, they will throw money at you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all about the experience.
And what are you a fundy album designer or are you a different album designer?
I play around. I'm not even gonna lie. Okay. I haven't committed simply because I don't do albums often. I really don't do. I think within the last year I've done 3 and I've had maybe like 20 weddings, but like 3 albums. And one of them was a gift to a friend of mine who got married, and I was like, babe, I got the credits, let's just get you an album. So yeah, I'll say I play around. So Fundy is one of the few that I do use.
Nice.
Is it Black Album Renaissance? I haven't used them in a while, but Fundy's the main one.
Cool. Okay, so we haven't discussed AI yet. So I mean a little bit with the AI culling, but my next question to you, as we get closer to the end of this conversation, is what does the future of AI in photography look like to you?
It looks like, and I'm not even gonna, I'm gonna try to keep it nice because I feel like I could also be potty mouth. AI right now, how it is, I hope it continues that way, where you're just using AI to improve your workflow, improve your editing, improving things, versus having AI take over the entire thing, if that makes sense.
Right.
Because then it takes away the human experience from the thing. Now I'm just going to be buying from a robot. I know there are apps out there where you just upload your selfie and they give you a LinkedIn photo. Again, I have no problem with those apps. You got to be real specific. I think with AI, I would hope it continues the way it's continuing. It continues to improve our businesses, improve our lives. I am fine as long as it doesn't take over completely. I still want us to have human experiences with each other. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, keep giving us AI stuff. I'm not mad about it. Saves me time and money. But allow me to also have some control.
Yeah. That at least I'd imagine, I can definitely speak for us that we are about keeping you in complete control with your creativity and just helping, aid that process along. The whole upload a selfie thing. Every time I try it, I'm just like, this is fun. But it's not. It's just fun. I know. I'm sure there are people who are like, all right, I'll never hire a photographer again. But you know what? That's not your client.
It's definitely not my client.
Yeah.
Because I'm in these Facebook groups, and one of them is like a woman empowerment group, one's a certification group. And somebody came in like, oh, I found this app, and you don't have to hire a photographer for branding photos anymore. You could just upload your... And I was just like, baby girl, there is so much that goes into branding sessions than just uploading your selfie to an app. If you are strapped for cash, just say that. There is nothing wrong with that. Do what you have to do with what you have at this moment. But if you have the resources to invest in yourself and get a creative team to do your branding session, do that. Because if you notice, even with these apps, everyone is going to start looking the same. Everyone's going to start having the same outfits on and the same look. Like
the same backgrounds.
Right.
It's always the same.
It's always the same. Yes. And if you want to look like everybody else, okay, that's fine. Keep doing you, sweetheart. But if you actually want to invest in your business and thrive and add some individuality, add some, as I call, razzle dazzle, invest in a creative team.
Yeah, I love it. Okay. How did Imagine impact your life?
Ooh, baby, I can enjoy my summers now. And most people will be like, what? If you are a wedding photographer, everybody knows from March to November, you are strapped. Like you are in every other weekend, if not every weekend. I remember working with my current mentor, Imagen-ai. I'm an associate photographer with her. And I remember one year we were booked like from Thursday to Sunday or Friday to Sunday, like every weekend. I hardly saw my friends that summer. Hardly. But now that I've taken a step back from big weddings and I'm still kind of busy for the summer, I don't spend most of my time sitting in front of the computer editing. Like I could just call, edit, and have Imagine do all that work, come back when I'm done having a mimosas or brunch or dinner with my friends and just go through what they have. I may or may not have to tweak a little bit and send it out the next day. So yes, right now, Debbie is able to have a life. Thank God. I'm able to have a life because of Imagine. Yeah. And that is not even a cap. I'm just, I have summer plans. I'm not worried about editing and sending things out. I'm just like, I'm making plans for summer and fall. And a year or two ago, I couldn't even do that because my mindset was, oh, I shoot today. I got to make sure I do this. I got to make sure I do that. Now I got to Imagine. I'll shoot. Hey girl, what you doing on Sunday? You want to do something? I know.
What is your favorite thing to do over the summer? And is it just get together with the friends and drink mimosas?
No, I'm also I love doing stuff by myself. I wouldn't consider myself a hermit. I like to do solo things. So I'll probably go do a picnic by Hoboken, by the pier, bring me some blankets and food by myself. Or if I want, like today I was planning on doing a solo date situation, self-care date, like celebrate this little interview. I'm going to go out, do a little midday matinee, then go do Taco Tuesday at Gringo's. Like there are going to be days where I randomly decide I'm just going to take myself out because I want to. So yeah, I'm good anywhere food is involved. Down for traveling. Like I would do a day travel, buy a ticket, go to New Orleans for the day and come back. I'll even do maybe walking in Manhattan if I'm in the mood, because Manhattan is a trip. Walking. Sometimes I honestly will just go sit by the water just for funsies. Water calms me. I'm also picking up a few books that I want to read. Again, Imagine is helping me sit down and do things that I like, because I haven't picked up and read a book in like so long. I would do audiobooks or put it up on Spotify, but now I'm able to have a physical book. As you can see, like in a minute, physical book.
You got a nice bookshelf back there. Yeah.
Thank you. It's heavy too. Yeah. I need to get a new one. And now I can pick up books.
Have you read Natalie Frank's books?
I think.
Her 2 books?
What's the title of her books?
So she has Built to Belong and Gutsy.
No, I've never heard of
I had her on a few episodes ago. So if you haven't listened to that, definitely listen to her episode. And I listened to her books. So I'm on about an acre of land here. And so I don't have to, but I chose to have a ride-on lawnmower rather than a push mower. And
so you're a farmer.
But like, the price difference is dramatic, but at the same time, it's talking 4 hours for me to mow the lawn versus 30 minutes. So, so I listened to Natalie's 2 books one summer while I was mowing the lawn.
Oh.
And anyway, so I'm right there with you with reading. It's been a long time since I've read a physical book rather than an audiobook.
And I'm not even gonna lie, I'm into smutty stuff, so I can't even recommend anything to anybody on this podcast. Sorry, guys. The stuff I read is for like real. It's for adults. So
got it. All good. Debbie, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. I can't wait for everybody to listen to this and hopefully be inspired with your detail throughout your workflow and everything. Where can listeners learn more about you, connect with you, and of course see your incredible photography?
Feel free to follow me on Instagram, dag_images, or you can check out my work at dagimagesnyc.com. If you're up for it, I would definitely suggest following me on Instagram, because that's where I put all my shenanigans and stories. I may not post often on feed, but I'm in stories saying all the reckless things.
And maybe this summer there'll be some stories about some books you've read.
I just might throw one in there. Just like, hey guys, check this out. But yes, definitely follow me on Instagram. You can find me on my website. And currently I'm even doing like this thing called study hall with other young photographers who are in different journeys, where we meet every Thursday at 7 p.m. And it's basically kind of like an accountability / co-working session. We show up, somebody comes with an issue. If anybody needs help with anything, any help with processes, we help them out. And yeah, so if you're interested in that too, feel free to join. Just send me an email and I got you.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
You have been listening to Workflows, presented by Imagine. To hear more from Workflows, to find links to our guests, and for an exclusive offer for Workflows listeners, please go to imagen-ai.com/podcast and be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time.